Welcome to part 2 of the Sustainable Marketing podcast with your two amazing hosts, Marcus and Bruno.
Today we will be discussing the hook model, which is a neuromarketing model, and how to implement it to sustainable marketing.
To clarify, with sustainable marketing, we mean the promotion of environmentally and socially aware products. If you wish to find out more about sustainable marketing, please check out part 1 of our amazing podcast.
So I already have the first question to you. Why sustainable marketing?
That's a great question. To understand why your SMEs should be aware of sustainable marketing, you must look at current patterns and behaviors of consumers. In the last decade, consumers have lost trust in big corporations according to the study above. To get ahead of this trend, you must not only act effectively as an SME, you should also act responsible. Additionally, it is important to create transparent and meaningful products. All this will help you to gain trust of your consumers and promote engagement.
In neuromarketing, we're trying to combine neurology, psychology, and marketing into one field. Why could that be effective? Because in our subconscious mind, there is more happening than we think. For example, our habits are happening there, or also how we perceive the feelings from the outside world. How can we link this to sustainable marketing? Of course, we talked about habits, and many habits are directly linked to how we change the world and how the world can change us. So, how do we analyze this further? For this, the hook model is very useful. Eyal, an author, wrote a whole book about this. We will link it, of course, here. And let's try to analyze something more with this model. The first part of the hook model is the trigger, which we can divide into external and internal triggers. An external trigger is, for example, someone on a Coke machine that gives us a Coke on the picture, of course, and therefore motivates our behavior. An internal trigger couples with an already existing thought, feeling, or habit in our minds. From the trigger, we then come to action. Action is the behavior done in anticipation to reward. It's important that doing is easier than thinking. After our customers did this action, we're giving them a variable reward. So basically we're itching their scratch and therefore leaving them and giving them what they want. But to keep customers, we need them to invest something. So the next step is investment. Investment is defined as when the user is putting something into the product, such as money, time, data, or social reputation. After this, the loop just continues.
Now that you understand the hooked model, it's important to know why as a sustainable SME you should be using it. So there's two main ways to get customers. The first one is to directly compete with your competition inside of your market for market shares. And the other one, which in our opinion is the more moral sound opinion, is to expand the market and get new customers into the sustainable world. A great example of this is Oatly, and we will show you a short video of a talk the advertisement manager of Oatly did.
So the other good thing about this is that we figured, because we're creatives, it's like, wow, we can have an opinion. Like we can have a personal opinion, like we're a company, but we can have an opinion. And if you have an opinion, guess what happens? You become human and you become real and you don't become a corporation. This is our packaging sides. They say exactly how it is. Here's the things that we believe in. We're not like a real company. We want to be a good company. It's like we're not perfect, but our intentions are true. And so we use the packaging to tell our story and to become less corporate. If you want to make a change, this is how you should do it. The meat and dairy industry are responsible for like 14.5% of all greenhouse gas emissions. That's the same of all forms of transportation combined. And what that allows us to do is paint walls in London like this that say 73% reduction in your carbon footprint by just swapping from milk to oat milk.
This is a great point by Oatly. By taking a stance or an opinion, you're gonna firstly see more human, and secondly, you're gonna grow curiosity about your brand. It is also very interesting to know that a negative message has a much larger effect on behavior change than a positive message? Well, now you might think that by taking such a strong opinion, you could be alienating part of your customer base. It would be interesting for you to know that studies like these show that the largest chunk of customers are actually environmentally conscious or willing to be so if given the opportunity.
What we hoped that you have taken away from this podcast is that sustainable SMEs should use neuromarketing to generate new customers rather than compete with already existing SMEs for market share.
Well, thank you again for tuning in another episode of Sustainable Marketing Podcast. We hope you did check out, and if not, please check out part 1.